morning and thank you everyone for joining us. Today we'll be introducing Kemio Disinfection in the post-harvest application. Presenters are myself, Georgina Stavers, Product Manager, Samantha Lunn, Product Development Manager, and Thomas Minto, Sales Executive. So as you can see from the agenda, we will cover 3 key areas with the purpose of giving you an understanding of how Kemio works, how it is used in the application, and an introduction to the application of post-harvest production. If anyone has any questions, please pop them in the chat and we'll aim to answer all of these at the end of the presentation. If everyone is ready, we will now begin. So for those of you who may or may not know Pale and Test, we have a rich history dating back to the 1800s when the company was known as Wilkinson and Simpson. So we've been around for many, many years. However, we're probably most well known for the work of Dr. Palin, who developed the use of DPD for field analysis in the 1950s. Since then, our company purpose has become abundantly clear as we work to safeguard water for everyone, every day. And we do this through providing innovative solutions globally through our key hubs in the UK, Americas, and APAC regions. With our products and services supporting all of these regions and a range of key markets and applications, which I will now take you through. So we focus on 4 key global markets. They include drinking and wastewater, where we work with many of the large utilities and municipalities to ensure they comply with protecting public health through safe water. We have a large presence in the recreational water market, working alongside leisure operators to ensure their pool and spa facilities meet public health standards and they can operate at full efficiency without the need for costly closures. Our focus on industrial water enables us to work with food and beverage operators and technical managers, and that ensures critical processes such as salad washing or water distribution are compliant and meet safety standards. Finally, we also work with the humanitarian sector and we assist international relief organisations, helping them to support communities in the toughest of conditions and environments, ensuring they have access to safe drinking water. To support these markets, we have a diverse range of products, which I will take you through now. So all of our products are built around making water testing simple and accurate, with a range of solutions to suit our range of niche applications. Our range of photometers, known as Lumizo, come in both handheld and benchtop variants, all with an easy-to-use interface that enables the user to accurately measure water samples in a range of environments, essential for maintaining water quality in recreational and water utility applications. The TPD Expert, like our photometers, is designed to be easy to use with the technology to determine the cloudiness of water samples, again ensuring accurate turbidity readings which support water utilities' aim of providing clean and clear water. Our range of portable lab kits, also known as WAGTech, are our microbiological water testing solutions, and they use membrane filtration to detect coliforms in water samples. These kits are the perfect partner for humanitarian applications where water testing is a must, like in some sort of emergency situation, like flooding or any relief situations. The visual kits, which use colour changing principles to determine presence of various parameters, give approximate results which cover basic water testing requirements. These kits are often used in recreational water applications as a really quick and easy way to monitor water quality. Our data management software Connect is a digital ecosystem that brings it all together. And this provides a platform that users can store and manage water quality data efficiently, and it's targeted at the end user who are testing and using our products. Finally, our electrochemical range, also known as Kemio, which is the focus of today's webinar, utilises current to determine the concentration of analyte in water, resulting in accurate readings, making more traditional tests much safer and faster. And the range can be used across a range of applications from drinking and wastewater to industrial and humanitarian. So I will now pass you over to Sam, who's going to focus on Kemio Disinfection, its features and benefits, and the technicalities of how it all works. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Georgie. So yeah, Kemio Disinfection is an advanced water testing solution which has many applications, particularly in those niche areas that conventional techniques may struggle with, because Kemio uses an electrochemical technique which is unaffected by colour or turbidity in solutions, which can become a problem if you're using like photometers. Kemio is very portable and extremely easy to use and gives you a really accurate testing result in 60 seconds. And all of the instructions are shown as you're using the device, so it's easy to follow. All of the results are logged on the instrument, and you can see 1,000 test results on the instrument itself. And if you upload it to our data management software, Palin Test Connect, you can see up to 10,000 results. Data management's also really easy. Another little feature which is really good is you can put control limits on the device, which will highlight whether your test results within your specific tolerance, which makes it really, really easy to determine that you're using the correct concentration level for your particular application. Currently on the Kemio Disinfection, we are able to accurately test for chlorine, both free and total, chlorine dioxide and chlorite, peracetic acid, and bromine. So what are sensors? Well, they are disposable strips that are pre-dosed with a reagent that will react with whichever disinfection species that you're trying to measure. So the chlorine or peracetic acid, for example. And as part of that dosing formulation that we put on, we include a buffer, which makes sure that the pH that's desired during the test is maintained throughout. So we control that on the sensor surface, so you're not having to add anything to the solution. So during the test, an electrochemical reaction occurs, which produces a current, which is what we measure. And as part of the calibration process, we incorporate various temperatures across the range for that specific sensor. And that's all incorporated into the calibration. So the compensation during the calculations performed automatically. So you can be sure that you're getting accurate measurements regardless of the sample temperature. So using your sensors with your water sample and coupled with the Kemio, you can get assurance of your disinfection concentration. So what's actually going on? Let's have a look behind the scenes. So you put your sensor in and your water sample into the Kemio. And if we zoom in on the sensor surface, in this example, it's peracetic acid, so we're representing that with the green circles. So they react with Ki, potassium iodide, that we put on the surface, which is then reduced at the electrode surface, and this produces the electrical current. So we use a technique called chronoamperometry, which literally means measuring current over time. And this is proportional to concentration. So we'll look at a particular area, and if you have more peracetic acid, the current will be higher, and that's all incorporated into your QR code, which is on the box of sensors. So the Kemio just does all that calculation for you, and you get the result on screen. So this is a summary of the video that we've just been through, but very simply put, the disinfectant reacts with a mediator that we put on the surface. This produces a current, and then we measure and correlate that to concentration, which is presented to you on the screen. All you have to do is put your sensor in, put your sample, close the lid, and this is all going on in the background. So I'll now pass over to Tom, who's going to take you through the post-harvest applications.
Thanks very much, Sam. Yeah, so in my section of the presentation, I'm going to be covering sort of why disinfectants are used in post-harvest, and then sort of how our Kemio comes into play, and then covering our value proposition, you know, why we know that Kemio is a great fit in post-harvest applications. So yeah, so we'll start off with why disinfectants are used. So once produce is harvested, it's usually washed, and that wash water, we use disinfectants like chlorine dioxide, and peracetic acid. These help with key things like preventing cross-contamination between produce. They also reduce the microbial load on surfaces. They slow down the spoilage, which helps extend shelf life. And most importantly, which covers the last 3 points, is it makes sure the food that we eat is safe. So, whilst disinfectants are really effective and they've been used for many years in this application, they do need to be carefully monitored, because if you use too much, you risk damaging the produce or leaving behind residues, and too little, you might not kill the pathogens, which opens the door to contamination, potential product recalls, and everything that goes into that. So that's why accurate on-site testing is so important, as it helps keep everything safe and compliant. So if we move on to the next slide, so most post-harvest production lines already have an online system in place to constantly monitor disinfectant levels, but that's where Kemio comes in. So our Kemio instrument is used to validate disinfectant levels against those inline systems, basically acting as a reliable double check to make sure everything is working as it should. Production line staff will take regular tests with the Kemio, typically every hour, but this can vary depending on the application. Sites that we visited, sometimes it's every hour, sometimes every two, sometimes every three. So it just all depends on what the application is and what the need for testing is. They will then compare the result from the Kemio instrument against the inline system, to ensure that disinfectant levels are within the correct range. And then from there, they can make quick decisions if they notice there's a test result that isn't right. They can decide whether they need to up the dosage, lower the dosage of disinfectant, that sort of thing. In terms of how a test is taken, so if we go on to the next slide, this is a sort of typical production line, quite a bit basic drawing here, but just to give you the idea. So production line staff will generally take the sample from the wash water section, which is where the inline system that's constantly monitoring the disinfectant levels is housed. So they will go over to there. There's generally a tap on the side of the inline where they can take the sample. Our Kemio will generally be located on a table or somewhere nearby, which they can then take the sample and run the test and obviously compare the results. So now on to our value proposition. So this is so effective in the post-harvest application, and this is from customer feedback, customers that were already working quite heavily with in this in this application. So first up, we've got operational efficiency. In fast-paced environments like on production lines, delays can be costly, but our Kemio instrument gives you quick on-site results, so there's no waiting around for lab reports. So it means people like technical managers or production line managers can make decisions much quicker with fewer delays. There's also regulatory compliance, a lot tougher at the moment, and a lot more audits are happening for production companies. So our Kemio instrument helps you stay ahead with digital records that are easy to access and share. So you're always audit ready. And for data integrity reasons, once the test has been taken by the production operative, it's not editable. So once a test is there, that's logged in the system, and that cannot be changed on the Kemio instrument. So it just gives confidence to the technical managers and the production line managers that the results that they're seeing are correct and they've not been edited in any way. Nextly, we've got the design of the Kemio. So it's a portable instrument. It's battery powered and it's IP67 waterproof rated. This is definitely important within post-harvest production and production line environments. The customers that we visited, it's always a very damp very damp location, just in terms of what's actually going on with the water involved. So the instrument needs to be robust and be able to handle tough conditions, and that's what we've built with Kemio. Again, with the IP67 waterproof rating, we know it's going to work even in those conditions. And then the portable aspect of it, the production lines, there may be different sections on the line that tests are taken. So the ability to move the instrument around to where it's needed is really important. And obviously, if you've got an instrument that's just plugged into the mains and needs to be mains operated, that's not possible. So it's battery powered, which really helps with that. Nextly, versatility. is another big win. Kemio can test for free chlorine, total chlorine, chlorine dioxide, and peracetic acid. From our research, and again from the customers we work with, that covers all the major disinfectants used in post-harvest water treatment. So, regardless of what chemical it is you're using, Kemio will be able to, to test for that. So, we've also made the instrument really easy to use. One of the things that we see is often training needs and training costs and an operational side that goes into that when someone leaves a business and comes in. We've basically reduced that by designing an instrument that's really intuitive. It's got step-by-step instructions on the screen, which means minimal training time, and it's quicker onboarding for anyone new joining the team. Basically, it really is simple to use, and that's been designed like that for that reason. Another point is, I think Sam touched on this, is that the Kemio is completely glass free. Again, on production line environments, glass is obviously a big contamination risk, and if there is glass there, then there's obviously the chance of getting contaminated within the product. So there's no glass, so it just creates a safer testing environment in the post-harvest production application. And then finally, adaptability. Whether you're whether you're washing leafy greens, root veg, fruits or herbs, Kemio works across a wide range of produce types. And yeah, so like I say, we've got customers where this is already in use in those different environments. So it's one device in a lot of applications where it can be used. Finally from me, that covers the features and benefits. Just from a commercial point of view, just wanted to say we're already working closely with companies across the post-harvest sector. And we've seen great success in applications like salad washing, carrot and beetroot washing. And these are products that end up on the shelves in our major supermarket chains. So the stakes are high when it comes to safety and quality. So, it's great to know that our Kemio instrument is trusted by these companies and in these environments. So, we do know that no two production lines are exactly the same. So each has its own quirks and challenges. And we'd love to speak with anyone who's curious about Kemio, how it can fit in their process. So I just want to say, please feel free to reach out to me directly, or you can contact us on LinkedIn or through our website. And someone from the team or myself would be happy to discuss, how Kemio can help. Yeah, thanks for listening. I'll pass back to you, Georgie.
Thanks very much, Tom. Appreciate you taking us through that. So now we'll open the floor to any questions. For those of you, if you put some questions in the chat, we'll go through them. But if there is anybody who would like to ask a question who hasn't popped it in the chat, please pop that in and we'll try and answer them now. But if there is any questions that we don't get through, we will obviously contact you all after the webinar. So I'll just give you a couple of seconds just to put any questions in. I'll just check, have we got any in there already? Let's have a little look. So we've got no questions yet. There we go. Right, let's have a look. So we've got Andrew. So how much for the unit and also for the reagent strips? Tom, would you like to take that out of the...
Yeah, of course, yeah, Andrew, what I'll do is I can reach out to you directly after this meeting and take that one. So yeah, I've made a note and I'll reach out to you and we can go through that, no problem.
I think we've also got someone with a hand up. If you would like to just put the question in the chat, that would be great, and then we can answer that because I don't think we can unmute. Just give you a second. Alternatively, we can reach out to you directly. I'm sure Tom or one of the team would reach out to you directly once the webinar is over. No more questions? No, it doesn't look like it. I'll just check the other Q&A. No. Okay, perfect. Well, we'll end the webinar there. We just want to say from myself, Tom and Sam, thank you very much for joining us today. As we said, we will reach out to everyone after the webinar. So if you do have any additional questions or you would like more information on Kemio disinfection within post-harvest, we can answer them separately. So again, thanks very much and hope everyone has a lovely day.